and they had no plan in attack at all. And the problem was last year, they were so programmed that when they needed to change to attack, when they went behind and when they had an extra man, they didn't know what to do. So the system was ineffective. It was always going to be a system that would give you loads of model victories and make you very competitive and hard to beat. But it was never a system that would deliver Sam Maguire. Now they've tweaked.
Nothing has changed. Nothing has changed with the system, Pat.
Sorry,
that was exactly the system that they plotted last year.
Finish the point first.
The defensive system is still in place, but what they have tweaked is that they are bringing players up forward more in support now. They're moving the ball quicker, they're counter-attacking at pace, and there's more forwards up in support. And the statistics are there, Joe, because in the Ulster final against Down, 11 different scorers. In the match against Cavan, they had 9 different scorers. So they are scoring more.
I think, Pat, it's also wrong. Yeah. I didn't criticise the style of play. I criticised the fact that they were quite cynical last year. They were in fellas' faces shouting and they were trying to get players sent off. I think a style of play is to be admired if they change dramatically the style of play of a team. It's up to legislators if they want to ensure a game is of a particular type. If Jimmy McGuinness wants to play the game, good luck to him if he's able to do it in a different way from everybody else and succeed in doing it, so long as there's no cynicism involved. What I think the legislators have to do is get ahead of the curve, as they have done in every other field game, and try to ensure that the basic principles on which the football game is supposed to be built on, catching and kicking, become the dominant.
But we're not going to criticise it, because I went up to Clones with you, Michael, and we watched Tyrone and Donegal, which was, it wasn't us purists would like a big open game of football with lots of attacking, but it was nevertheless a very intriguing, fascinating, absorbing contest. It was like the footballing equivalent of a game of chess, when one team tried to figure a way through the other. Now, I wouldn't like to be looking at it every day of the week, and unfortunately we're looking at it every day of the week at club football now, but it was like that type of football can still be entertaining and enthralling, even though it's not what us purists want.
All right, lads, obviously we have much more to talk about in this intriguing match and more on the build-up to the game still to come. We'll do that in just a moment after this.
They sort of drove us here, and Dublin defeated us, and they beat us well last year. It may have only been 2 points, but I think they were the far stronger team on the day. But it's something that's drove us to get back here, and we're playing now. They're one of the top teams in the country, and just can't wait to get out in the pitch and do it. So late, and we thought we would hold it out that long, and it's something we've always worked on, and it's something we've prided ourselves on over the last 2 years. So conceding that goal was disappointing, which brought them back into the game, and they had the run of the game, and then I suppose we got that point near the end, just Carl stuck it over to win the game.
Your big teams, the likes of Dublin, Tyrone, Cork, Kerry, are always going to be up there knocking on the door year in, year out. The likes of Mayo also, and it's new to us. We're up and around them this last 2 years, but who say this is going to last? So it's up to us to try and seize the opportunity that's given to us at the moment now, and try and do our best.
Training is key for us, and we'd be hopeful that the 30 guys that are inside there can up the intensity over the next couple of weeks, and hopefully that'll stand to us the next day.
When a lot of us have finished up and not playing anymore, that you can look back on it, and hopefully you look back on it with good memories. But when you're in the thick of it, you just want to concentrate on it and try and drive things on when things are going well.
For the team that we have in here, I think we won't be happy, with maybe, as I said, two or three Ulster titles. We have a bigger picture. We want to win that All Ireland, and I think that this year's maybe as good as chances as any. We're there, as I said. It's going to take a long road next year to be back where we are now, so we're going to make the most of it this year, and as I said, perform to the best we can, and hopefully get to that final.
Yeah, that is Graham Cantor. We're anticipating changes here. It looks like they're going to leave Ray Carey off and Nicholas Murphy and change the whole setup.
Yeah, I think Ray Carey wasn't ready to play anyway, and Nicholas Murphy is more of an impact sub, but it's going to be interesting if they play 2 forwards, Kieran Sheehan and Daniel Goulding. So who's nominally a cornerback? It looks like Cork are going to go for 7 forwards to play on Mark McHugh and make sure that he's not allowed to dictate the game. But Cork themselves have been quite defensive this year too. I think, Joe made a very valid point last year that Cork weren't as organised as other teams and it was holding them back from winning. And to me it has been very obvious that Paul Kerrigan has played a much more defensive role, and other players have adopted a very similar role. So Donegal are going to meet a defensive formation quite similar to themselves.
Getting back to the switches, they're a very bright idea, because Nicholas Murphy, the idea of him as a target man was a great idea, but they weren't using him at all. He got 2 balls against Kildare, one was out midfield. Kieran Sheehan, what Kieran Sheehan brings, he's strong, he's comfortable on the ball, but he can kick long range points, and it'll be very interesting probably the second move. So they'll probably push Paddy Kelly up on Mark McHugh. So instead of Mark McHugh parked as a sweeper, now they'll try to get Mark McHugh out as a defender and get him away from the areas. And if Paddy Kelly or whoever's going to be on McHugh pops over 2 or 3 points, well then...
The other big advantage is Goulding is a superb free taker. And when Sheehan went off against Kerry, it meant that Donegal could foul around the middle of the field and weren't penalised. Goulding will kick a lot of those over the bar.
One of the things down through the years that Pat has often looked at with the Cork team is when they run at you, their running game kind of is very strong, and we would like to see that today. Let's put it that way.
Well, certainly against Kildare, Cork ran.
And as the game proceeded, Cork became more and more flummoxed because they weren't able to play their normal game, driving through the middle. So that's the big clash today.
Yeah, so what about that role then that both the lads have mentioned, the roles of Paul Kerrigan and Aidan Walsh there?
Well, Kerrigan and Walsh are very important. One of the reasons Cork have been so miserly this year is both of them are terribly dynamic, and they're using them both as defensive players to counter-attack into the space. And you'll see that what happens is that whenever Cork win possession, both Walsh and Kerrigan in particular, are lying deep in their own defence. It's a good way to break free. Then they're effectively running backs. They run through the middle. The Cork wing half forwards and corner forwards move towards the sideline to give them more room as they come through the middle. And you'll see them, they run in tandem together like this. The two of them come running down the middle, as you can see highlighted on the graphic. Now, as a result of that, they created 4 goal-scoring chances between the two of them against Kildare. Now, here's the downside. The downside is that neither of them are good goal finishers. So of those 4 goal chances, they missed all of them, unless you count the fact that one of...
True ago, Marty, about the 6'3" Aidan Walsh, and in my opinion he's one of the most dynamic and exciting players in the game at present. This year he's alternated between midfield and the half-forward line, but it is his surging runs really that have caught the eye this year. He's added also long-range point-taking from frees, and Donegal will have their work cut out to curtail his influence today. Michael Murphy in particular I'm keen in looking at. He's a guy this year, Marty, who has sacrificed his game for the greater good, and everybody in Donegal looks up to him. Like, he can win ball, he can score, he's great leadership, and on top of that he's a wonderful temperament for the game. And a good year can become a great year for him if he can lead Donegal to their second All-Ireland final.
David Coldrick is the match referee. It begins in about 5 minutes time.
That's a signal that what they're going to do is that they're going to rotate quickly, move the ball quickly around the half-forward line and shoot for points for distance. In fact, they've even gone to the extent of playing Fintan Gould at wing half back. Clearly he's going to come forward late, join the play and shoot for scores. This is the way, this is the best way to deal with Donegal, I believe. Dublin were very lucky to get over the line last year when Pat Gilroy elected to keep his defence in position. The way to get at Donegal is to push up on them, push up on McHugh. Now it makes it a very fascinating battle. The thing about Donegal is they're utterly dependable. They won't change their style. They'll be absolutely remorseless. And I still feel that Cork need to put in the best performance that they've ever put in Croke Park to win this game today.
Big atmosphere and big crowd here, Colin O'Rourke, for this match. There's a great excitement build up to it. So Conor Coonahan has, I suppose, maybe thrown the dice in this. Is it going to work?
Well, fair play to him. He's gone for broke. The only one that he has left that will make a big impact now would be Pearse O'Neill. And in some ways this is a game of the collective against the individual stars from Cork, the collective will of Donegal. But it's not a game of chess either. It takes great players to win big games, and Cork are going to have to stand up here. They're heavily outnumbered in terms of support, but down on the pitch is the only place that counts, and good players adapt themselves to whatever is happening on the field, and I feel that Cork have more better players than Donegal.
Hash, do you feel the same way about your neighbours down there in the southwest?
We know what Donegal are going to bring to the table. Defensively, very, very well organised, and they could keep going for 3 or 4 hours. Now, what Cork have done is they're starting with their best team, with their best scorers on the field, and the key is getting a lead, because once Donegal get a lead, they can even protect a 1-point lead. It will be very interesting if Cork can get an early lead, and then that will force Donegal to rearrange their plan. That'll force Donegal to come out of their shell and be more on the offensive. And I think for Donegal to win today, they will have to speculate a little bit more. They will have to be a bit more adventurous, and they will have to put Michael Murphy forward, who's only scored 2 points in playing this year's championship. So Cork have the scorers. I think Cork have better options in attack, and provided they don't get sucked into the Donegal style of play, provided they can move the ball quickly, play the game at pace, break the tackles, have fellas coming in support from both sides, and a few long-range points, I think Cork possibly have the more attacking options, and I think Cork will win.
They have broken from the parade, as you can see. We are minutes away from the start of this intriguing All-Ireland football semi-final. It's back to the commentary box to rejoin Martin Carney and first, Marty Morrissey.
Taking the first free of the afternoon and tapping it over the bar. Donegal are up and running in Croke Park in this semi-final. Goes straight down the middle. Neil Gallagher, and getting his fingertips ahead of Alan O'Connor, then gets the return pass. Waste of possession, easily gathered by Graham Canty. Toddy Kassan for his own Cadigan. Noel O'Leary gone forward. Kassan, good play by Cork. Kerrigan is at the end of it. It's a sweet kick. It's a sweet move, and Cork are on the scoreboard for the first time.
Yeah, that's a lovely score from Kerrigan. That's probably what you see more and more of Cork doing today. Shooting from distance, not coming into the tackle as much as they might have done in the past. That's an excellent opening score for Cork.
And it's interesting, Martin, that it involved Noel O'Leary and Toddy Kassan going forward from a very deep defensive role.
Yes, and also Kerrigan not bringing the ball into the area where there is Donegal traffic, and heavy traffic at that.
Tall Durkin fools everybody, I think, with that kick out. And it's won easily by Paddy Kelly. Skipping away on this occasion from Mark McHugh. And on the turn, sends it straight between the posts. Paddy Kelly is his name, from Ballincollig, and Cork lead for the very first time.
I don't think that kick out went to where it was meant to go. That time it went out to Mark McHugh, who was well beaten in the race for the ball by Paddy Kelly.
Bertie taking on Noel O'Leary. Good speed from the 19-year-old. Lovely skill by Matt Brearty. And the referee blows his whistle, fooling Noel O'Leary completely with some beautiful footwork here. And then
black ball, 40, black ball.
Here he comes. Took his time, fully focused. Toddy Kassan slips one through the centre. Carl Lacey coming in to challenge, and back there is Mark McHugh. Far is Rory Kavanagh, and away come Donegal. There's a little bit of afters going on as well. Kavanagh feeds Anthony Thompson, goes again for that long ball up to Michael Murphy, lays it off, quickly fires McFadden on the turn, scores! Good play, Donegal. And Michael Murphy is a very good target man if they can feed quantity and indeed quality ball into it.
Beautifully punted ball into Murphy that time, who showed out in front of his defender, won the ball well, but the angle of the run from McFadden to come in and support and finish it was top drawer.
That he has to go back more than 5 to 10 metres. Here's Daniel Goulding. It's looking good. And it's over the bar. They're level again. 3 points each for the third time.
Well, we'll all remember Goulding's tour de force in the All-Ireland final, was it 2 years ago, where he scored, was it 9, Marty, during the match, most of them from frees.
Hitting it gracefully and accurately. That's his second of the game. And Donegal took the defender from Douglas on the south side of Cork City under a bit of pressure. He works himself out of trouble. Toddy Kassan now. Flicking it. Kieran Sheehan, nice little dummy. Makes the space as a result, uses the fist to put this over the bar. Good score. That came all the way from goalkeeper Alan Quirk with a short kick out to Owen Can. Mixed signals between himself and his captain. It doesn't happen that often, but I could see quite clearly that Alan Quirk I'd said, leave it to me. Ball from Owen Paddy. Good pressure again from Donegal. Here comes Rory Kavanagh. A little bit of space in front of him. Has a pop, and look at that. Brilliant score by Rory Kavanagh. And Donegal are back in front again.
That's a fabulous score from Kavanagh. And it must be said that time he took on the responsibility. He looked to get Murphy with the quick pass. Didn't
playing so many kickouts short. It was interesting, the first three Neil Gallagher was doing well, wasn't he, Mark?
Yes, and they have played the last three short, Mark.
Nice ball from Paul Kerrigan to Colm O'Neill. Nice turn. What about the finish? Quality from Colm O'Neill from Ballyclaw in North Cork. He is a wonderful forward, and the sort of ball he's being fed here, where he runs onto it and turns, is exactly what O'Neill loves.
I think that was Kerrigan that put that ball through to him. Just watch it again with the delightful dink pass from Kerrigan. Great vision, wonderful finish. It's the football so far, and it's intriguing stuff.
This time, Alan Kirk goes long, and the breaking ball is picked up by Pádraig Cassar. Feeds it into the space for Paul Kerrigan. Away goes the speed merchant from Nemo Rangers, taking on the challenge. Lays it back, good play. First Daniel Goulding, deadly on the left. O'Neill is good on left or right. Here he goes! And there is another point for Colm O'Neill. He is posing serious problems for Donegal. Two quick balls, 2 points, one on the left, one on the right.
But once more, it was Kerrigan who made the initial thrust that caused the problems, created the openings. Not sure was it the Gould was involved in the move as well, but you must credit O'Neill with the quality of the score. I think he might have got hurt in taking.
Kick out from Paul Durkin. Oh, great catch by Neil Gallagher. Lays it off to Carl Lacey. Lacey heading towards the 20. He's steadying himself. He's now shooting, and he's scoring! Lacey is the man that comes all the way from centre half back. Given any sort of space, he will punish the opposition, and that's exactly what he did here.
Well, sometimes Donegal are noted for having a slavish.
6 times level. Clever play by Kieran Sheehan. Knocking it back far is Graham Canty. Free is quickly taken by Michael Shields to Kieran Sheehan. Trying to lay it down for Donnacha O'Connor. The layoff is to Sheehan with speed. Heading towards the 20. Here comes Sheehan. Steadies. Will it curl? Will it curl? It will. White flag raised in Croke Park for Kieran Sheehan's second point of this All-Ireland semi-final. Wonderful game of football between the Munster and Ulster champions.
And as you said, good kick out once again from Kirk. Out to the side, and a fast moving of the ball up along the side, not going through the into the game.
Touchdown in the middle of the field. Eventually comes to Rory Kavanagh. Lays it off as Leo McClune. Kavanagh did well. He was under pressure. Anthony Thompson has gone into the attack. Nice turn. Retaining control. Flicks it forward far as David Walsh. What about the sub? Steadies. Has a go and has a score. Sometimes substitutions just simply work. And credit to Jim McGuinness and credit to David Walsh. About 25-30 seconds into the game, this happens, given a bit of space, created initially by Rory Kavanagh, finished by David Walsh. There's Eamon McGee looking around at options. McFadden and Murphy up front. Here comes Carl Lacey. He's done it once already. Holds up the play, waiting for the reinforcements. Slips one through, nice ball in. Powers Mark McHugh. Will he take his point? Yes, he will. Very good counter-attack play by the Ulster champions. Donnacha O'Connor losing the ball inside around the 20-metre line on the Donegal side. Donegal counter-attack, and it ends with a McHugh point.
Yeah, Leo McClune's involvement in that was top drawer. Watch Mark McHugh just looked up to see could he slip it to McFadden. Did the right thing, took the score and puts Donegal into the lead coming into half-time. And Marty in every...
In this summer's first senior football semi-final, Donegal leading Cork by a single point. It is 8 points to 7. Yeah, Joe Brolly, Colin Morg, Pat Spillane here with me in the studio. Pat, we mightn't always agree with the tactics and have issues about them from time to time, but this half of football has been absorbing.
You're right, Michael. This time last year we were here and we were being hypercritical about for what was an absolute turkey of a game. Today, the exact opposite.